Well, greetings, hello, and welcome back. I'm ImperialJedi, hope today finds you well. Here we are once again building in our modded city. And I thought we'd actually take a little bit more of a focus on the outskirts again, instead of actually working on the downtown part of the city. And this is kind of a continuation of what we just almost by accident managed to whip up on the stream the other day. I normally struggle like a lot with building small towns, especially with like the placement in the field and everything. I normally just kind of do like too much and everything looks weird. But I don't know, I'm just very, very proud of this. So let's take a little tour around this small town that kind of popped up in the northern part of the city here. And we'll just do a little bit of expansion today. Got a few more assets I want to try out. Yeah, this is kind of fun, just kind of popped up. And we're bringing some rail in. We got some alternate driving options coming in here too. And just a nice little charming feel to it. Feels like a very nice, like, American small town. And we're going for like an Art Deco kind of style here. So like, the downtown, in air quotes, you can kind of see like, 1950s revamp. Kind of cool buildings here. Modern at the time, and they're kind of, they're taking what the future would have looked like. And I would argue, especially in today's, architectural climate, these have aged beautifully. Like this is, I think, making a big resurgence too. So you come in by train, and I thought to kind of keep things nice and old and fun, we've got a nice old steam train here. Views of the downtown. And we've got a cargo train line that's going to be kind of coming in on the outskirts for the back part of town. So this is just the passenger portion right here, which is kind of cool. We've got a little reservoir. Actually, it's kind of a fun story with this little spot here. So the idea is this used to be a quarry, tunneled out, went super, super deep. And then maybe, they found like, I don't know, like a marble deposit or something cool up here, right? And then the story goes that they were mining, and then they kind of like uncorked a reservoir. And then maybe that reservoir is kind of like an offshoot of this river, with like gravimetric pressure or something that kind of like, comes up here or something. So the idea is there's like a reservoir here. They unfortunately broke the seal, and then we just kind of have this nice little charming waterfall and just kind of filled the quarry. So the idea is like this is off limits, so we might put some fencing or something in here. I might have some renegades to come down and boat. So maybe kind of like a little dirt boat ramp to show that people are, swimming at their own risk, I guess. Yeah, this is kind of cool. And then, we're going to capitalize on the fact that there is a reservoir here, so we threw this water tower down. And it's got that, like, really cool commanding art style. Yeah, it's kind of a cool place. Using a lot of modern assets as well. So we got some, mansions, bigger properties. The King Leno field over here, which is fantastic. Got the train station coming in. That's supposed to be a little bit more modern, even though we got the fun old steam trains. One of the original churches, and yes, McDonald's. I don't know. I don't even eat McDonald's that much these days. Just kind of, it looks nice, Feels like American small town, too. A couple schools, but yeah, this turned out really nice. It's just, missing a lot of detailing, but we're slowly getting there. So just a little bit more shopping in this part here, some more residential. And then, yeah, I thought we could just do some generic expansion in here, and then we could end off working in this spot over here. And just for the overall picture of the small town, what I'm going for is a small pocket of oversized commercial. So we've got a Target, we've got some car dealerships, and then this part kind of onward in a little triangle here, this is going to be farmers' fields. And then we're going to have a planned suburb over here. So it's going to look kind of cool when it's all said and done. There's just so much to do. And then I'm going to flatten a little bit more of this out in that triangle shape. And then we're going to kind of pretend like one of the farmers' fields is slowly being taken over. And then just as kind of a makeshift fun thing to do, which is a very small town in my mind as well. Actually, I'm going to put this in right now so you can see it. Hey, let's start with that. Let's go. Why talk when we can just show? So I'm going to flatten things out like I said here. And I'll keep it a little bit of a surprise. Kind of keep you hanging on the edge of your seat here, hopefully. Cliffhangers, no pun intended while doing the cliff stuff here. Okay, so we're going for like a farmer's field kind of vibe over here. For sure going to keep the mountain because it'll look really cool. But this will be a lot easier, when we're doing the generic suburb building and whatnot and laying props down. We'll keep some of it tiered. That's totally cool for me. And then maybe in a bit more of a valley. And when you see what I'm about to do, you'll be like, oh, cool, cool. And I just did a really generic, easy search for it in the workshop, and you'll see exactly what it is. And you'll be like, oh, yeah, oh, yeah, oh, yeah. Alright, so, just giving my little Sims here an option. Kind of going with an arterial, like road hierarchy kind of a method here, of so many words. So if you want, you can access the small town via this way. This is supposed to be kind of like, you know, like a modernized intersection, oversized roundabout for higher traffic flow. It's pretty easy on the trucks. But just, you know, continuous flow through here. And we were able to do this over here, like, you know, the IRL story, in air quotes, right, would be like, you know, land is pretty inexpensive. We're trying to maximize traffic flow. You know, the small town, we know it's going to grow, so we want more people coming in here. And then we're just putting in some shopping and whatnot. And again, we can do bigger stores here just because, like, land value would be less than if it was inside the city proper. And that, you know, would just lead overall to kind of like an evolution of a natural city, right? I know this is the biggest tangent, so forgive me. I know, again, these videos are all over the place, right? But I have a lot of people that kind of like ask, like, how do you build the story of the city? You know, like, how do you make your cities feel organic and believable? Like that kind of, those generic questions, right? And it's, yeah, your story just has to kind of make sense, right? So for our city in particular, I may have gone over this in another video, I don't remember, I've talked about this in the live stream, so someone somewhere is gonna be like, this all sounds very familiar, but I don't know, maybe it's helpful, so I'll make it fast. So yeah, our city started over here. You know, maybe this was the original city hall somewhere around here. Maybe this was the original Portlands. We have an Art Deco style over here to reflect that as well. You know, so the 1950s or whatever, this little part of the city got a big boom. You know, it modernized at the time, led to these really cool buildings coming in. And then, you know, as land value goes up in the city, right? You know, industry, manufacturing, those kind of things won't be able to afford the rent. You know, it's not really a good investment of their money if all their income is just going straight to paying rent, right? When they could maybe just buy a property in the outskirts of the city and then just kind of maximize profits that way, right? So naturally over time, your downtown city center should just, you know, evolve economically, right? You should have commercial buildings, you should have offices, maybe some mixed use for some residential. You know, the cargo and those freight trains might start to take a different route. You have like passenger routes through here. You know, over here, this may have been an old cargo dock as well. We reclaimed it with a stadium, made it more pedestrian and tourist friendly. And so yeah, land value goes up in the downtown part of the city. That pushes the industry out. You know, in terms of how this city was started, right? The next industrial pocket was this place over here. And then again, land value goes up, gentrification happens. You can see, you know, name brand stores coming in. That pushes, again, rent higher, right? So you have all these factories and everything trying to maximize profits. They're going to move further out, just like in real life. You know, why pay more rent when you can buy bigger space? The infrastructure's already in place now. We got the highways a little bit further out from the city, but then there you go. That's how the suburbs happen, right? These new industrial pockets need a place for people to live. The suburbs are a byproduct of the city's land value going up and you not being able to live as close to the city center anymore. You know, so we have maybe the more expensive suburb on the left, that was the original one. Newer ones because this place is starting to transform. So your art style matches that, right? And then maybe over here, this was a separate city that just kind of grew as well. That's kind of how this formed. And we got the island airport downtown. We got the farming. Farming's going to lead into the small town. Small town will have mining, forestry, farming, and then development. So there you go. And then our harbor eventually ended up over here because it's, you know, closest to the, you know, the river mouth opening and makes the most sense. So that's kind of that. So just think about these kind of things when you're making your own cities. Okay, hopefully that helped a little bit. I don't even know where that just suddenly came from, but... And yeah, the small town, I guess, was a byproduct of that kind of thought process. Okay, let's plop in that thing. I literally feel like I left you guys on the biggest cliffhanger here. You're like, Imperial, what was that item before? Oh, don't worry, I haven't forgotten, don't worry. Alright, so just to kind of finish my original thought, which led to that horrifyingly long tangent, which I hope you guys don't mind. I really feel like that is all over the place and not necessarily the best for YouTube videos, but I like show and tell. And I'm going to be experimenting with the format, guys. Like, I really like the idea of doing these kind of long forms for those that enjoy it. And then I also like the idea of now moving into, like, more, you know, like, focus videos, especially the tutorials. And then definitely a more focused Let's Play. But it'd be kind of cool to keep, like, bringing this city out every once in a while, especially for some YouTube videos. Okay, so you can get in on the major road here. This will be a higher speed limit. This will be a secondary road. So if you want to bypass a little bit of traffic, maybe you live in here. And then going into where our little small town farming boundary is. Okay, so I want this to curve a little bit. Sorry, this particular commercial just goes on for a long time. Let me just swap that back and forth. Oh, and it's a synthetic dawn, by the way, for today's episode and in last video. Some people in the comment section asked about that. Some radio stations are free because some of them come with DLC, some of them you have to buy. Keep your eyes peeled for those. Okay, now I want this. Okay, now are you ready for this? Drive in, there it is. Drive-in theater. How fun is that of an idea? Okay, so let's flatten that out a little bit here. And when it's all said and done, we're gonna tie this in and kind of have like boundary lines for fences and everything for farms. And this will be the part of the farmland that got sold and is slightly getting modernized and, you know, made into a suburb or something. But yeah, small towns definitely have drive-in theaters, right? Okay, maybe not that much of a hill, so let's push this back further. And then, not to make that so dramatic, but let's push some of this back, and then we can flatten this out a bit more. Not bad, not bad. Okay, so let's clear off some of the trees. We'll have just a little itty-bitty turnaround thing here with maybe a couple stores. There's some water through here. And a lot of the small town assets I've been using, guys, are from King Leno. I don't think that theater was, but just do a search in the workshop for drive-in theater. Also, please don't judge me on my pipes. I'm just going for speed here. Maybe not the best. Better than nothing. Okay, so just, yeah, a little turnaround point. And then maybe that leads off to like a dirt road or something that we can work on later. Same with this. And I'm gonna have a little mini parking lot. I know that might sound counterproductive, but if we are gonna do some stores over here, I know a drive-in theater, obviously you drive your car towards it, right? But maybe, you know, you're going with a group, carpooling, and you wanna maybe leave your cars over there and then hop into one big truck or something, or someone's got a nice comfy SUV. Or maybe you've got one of those flatbeds you know, back in, and you kind of make like a little cocoon thing in the back there with like sleeping bags and stuff, a little fort. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Maybe you're one of those cool cats. Alright, so just a little... I feel like, you know, we'd have like a little... I guess what that is for, right? A little snack bar? Yeah. But it's like, who would be our stores over here, I wonder? Maybe like a little corner store kind of style. No, these are like literal corners. Okay, what am I gonna type? I think I had one. It was like a cigarette store. Yeah, here we go. Definitely not promoting cigarettes. Gross and icky. But just a little corner store kind of vibe here. Small town as well. And then what's another, you know, maybe we'd have like a little leftover distribution or warehouse or something over here too. Just kind of nearby. Oh, a maintenance facility. Oh, that's a fun idea too in here, eh? Yeah, maybe we're near a little industrial lot as well. That connects up kind of back here. And I apologize if my voice sounds a little strained today, guys. Just been doing like a lot of streaming and recording as I clear my poor throat. So I really don't think I'm getting sick or anything. I'm just kind of using my voice way too much right now. So I don't really want to make too many jokes, especially given the, you know, the climate, you know. All right, my thought process is if you're kind of coming from this direction, maybe you're not going to want to turn there. Maybe you would have gone that way, but, you know, in the interest of making intersections fun, just turn on the anarchy. Okay, now as far as jazzing this all up, just for good traffic flow. So again, I kind of feel like, you know, we started doing like a movie theater and we ended up building a lot of infrastructure. So I'm still kind of like struggling with the pacing and flow of these videos, you know what I mean? Maybe that can be a traffic light. I will find the silver lining, guys, of just trying to like get it all, you know, get it all working here. Maybe not silver lining, maybe that's not the right word, but I'm just trying here, you know. And I think just in the short run, getting content out is good, but I don't know. I'm all over the place. All right, where was that wonderful building? That's so cool. That's so big. Not the one I was looking for. It was this one here. Yeah. Still gonna kind of stick with the overall small town theme, of course, right? But let's try and finish this up again. So going with the fencing, kind of farming, that kind of idea, let's use one of the farm fences. And we'll just kind of fence part of this off. Yeah, maybe from here to here was an old farmer's field that that got sold. And let's try and maybe show a little bit of a property line with the trees as well here. I'm not sure if this is going to be possible, but we'll try. Kind of like it got a little bushy in there. My poor computer's spawning all these trees here. Yeah, I knock on wood. You actually knock on wood here. I don't know if you're superstitious. But yeah, I'm just so nervous. More and more assets keep getting added. One day I'm gonna be recording and my poor computer's gonna shut right off. Hope not though. Okay, now I think we just need a little bit more something commercial-wise in here. Let's just see if we got search-wise for small town. Okay, small post office, not quite what I was looking for. What about my art deco? Problem when you download so much awesome stuff is you don't really remember the keyword searches all the time. No, that's definitely not what I'm looking for. Way too modern looking. No, maybe we could find something else that's kind of in that style. I believe those are in the Rico. Okay. Oh, commercial warehouse, that might be kind of good too over here. Oh, Comfort Inn. Oh, that's an interesting thought too. All right, definitely we want, like, I have a motel. We don't actually have like a bigger kind of like name brand chain though. So that should be pretty cool to have in the city. All right, so I guess the style for our building right now is just kind of like all over the place. Let's build whatever comes to mind. Oh man. Guys, honestly, in truthfulness, this is kind of what's been stopping me from trying to like do another big grand series. I just don't want them to be all over the place. You know, the Twitch streams are, and it kind of bleeds that you can see into the YouTube video right now, right? Just kind of building on the seat of my pants, you know? Hoping that things will work out a little bit better. Not that they're going bad or anything, but I just want it to be more sticking to a theme. I feel like I kind of go in circles with that right now, too. Alright, I think this makes sense to me on the way in, especially near the roundabout in our commercial zone. So let's have this here. We'll decorate that later. Just trying to get so many ideas out at once. I guess that's also part of it. It'd be kind of fun making an old military base around here. You know what we could do is a gas station over here. That might work. Kind of like a mom and pop style one, a little old one. Yeah, we'll find like one or two more commercial buildings to put over here to kind of like give the gas station a little bit more of a regular customer base. And this is kind of like, you know, there's the name brand, there's the shell over there. Maybe here's your off-brand. Even though this may be name brand for someone, I have no idea, right? But just for the story of us right now. Okay, well, that's not a bad little start. I think we're actually going to move over and put a little bit more residential in. And I actually want to put a couple more stores in this part over here. In the residential, this is actually kind of a fun story over here. I'll show you how this stuff was done. This is the American eclectic building theme. So we made ourselves a district, and then we zoned that district just using the residential, and then changed it over to the American eclectic. And the way they come in is really neat. So let's actually flatten a little bit more of this out, and we'll do a little bit more housing just in this part. Guys, also, I really apologize for not being able to keep up the comments. I'm just absolutely blown away at how many are coming in. I am reading them all. I should be hearting more of them as I read them. I just feel like that's almost like insincere in a weird way. I really want to respond to them all, but at this point, it's just like, holy smokes. So I want you to know that I really appreciate you guys taking the time to write them out. And just, if I haven't answered it, like, don't think that I'm not reading or anything. And just the thought alone, like, I really, really, really appreciate that. And I'm so sorry if I do miss stuff, guys, like comments, questions, that kind of stuff. Never my intention. Sometimes just life gets in the way, and it becomes like I don't mean this in a bad way at all, right? But it just becomes very time-consuming trying to keep up with all that in a very fun way. I never feel alone. So I really appreciate it in that sense, you know? Alright, so just like a smidge more residential back here, right? And then it can kind of go into the hills. We'll flatten this part out as well. And then as far as our little upload schedule goes, guys, I'm going to be trying to record a new vanilla Let's Play series to try and tie in with the release of the new Sunset Harbor DLC. I'll talk about that in the comments section as well. I'll make a little note about that. But on release day of the DLC, I'm hoping to have at least a couple episodes for a new series. It's going to be vanilla-centric. It's going to be vanilla, but kind of a twist. I've been way overdue in trying to make a really, really grandiose vanilla series, and it kind of incorporates like all the DLCs, I mean, sorry. And since we're getting a brand new one, like when better a time, right? So we'll do 81 tiles, which I know is a little bit taboo because that's definitely not vanilla. But my argument would be like, I would just like a little bit more space to build on so I can actually showcase every DLC from a vanilla perspective. So we'll build out like a massive industrial supply chain network with custom industry from the Industries DLC. We'll focus on the new features from Sunset Harbor, of course. We'll build ourselves like, you know, a grandiose campus. We'll use, you know, Green Cities DLC, Mass Transit DLC, Transit Hubs, Big City vibes. Kind of what we're doing now, but like a vanilla version. We'll kind of also see like how the game is aged, which will be pretty cool. Alright, so American eclectic, right? So I'm just going to extend this district just to kind of make things a little bit more simple. But if you want to, and then I don't know if you guys know this or not, but your nodes will snap the district tool. So if you want clean looking districts, just go node to node, nice and slow, and then fill in the rest after. And this is, of course, how you would do your specialized districts if you are just playing vanilla, if you happen to have some of the DLCs. So we zone that. We can switch this over to become organic and local produce, leisure, whatever we want. So when this now zones, it'll look different. Yeah, so that's how you do that. Not looking to do that right here, though. I actually want that to be residential, but just in case someone needed to see that, who knows. All right, just leave that be. Not going to be residential. Or, sorry, not going to be commercial.
Lock eyes with the lemur. Shake hands.
So what we'll do, we'll just expand on this one.
Experience the wild in our wildest exhibition yet. Come down this weekend to meet our newest addition, a three-toed sloth named Barbara.
Cool. And then we're going to probably hand plop the rest, but let's see how these turn in.
Toes used to grasp trees in the wild. After that, take a gander at another new species. A new type of bird previously identified as a different type of bird due to a zoological error. Fun for the whole family.
So until these things make their way to the absolute maximum level, they actually look like they're under construction. So if you're doing like a little YouTube series that's kind of showing like the natural evolution of a city, maybe you just have a brand new suburb starting to pop up, like this could be some generic background, which will look pretty cool, right? And then as they go through the levels, they'll actually start looking like this. And then for me, now that they're at this level, what I want to do is start adding some of the fencing in and making this more like kind of that custom feel we've been going for in the other parts of the city. So we're gonna lose one. Sorry about that, friend. Eminent Dome. Everyone kind of makes fun of me still for that, right? I'm some like barbarian here, just destroying someone's dream home they saved up for their entire life for. So now that I kind of know how these work, I don't mind doing some of this. And we can also, I don't know if this is going to work though. I can try pulling the house over a little bit. I'm not sure how the zoning squares are going to cooperate though.
The best views in life come from the top. Looking out from a window on the 70th floor.
And I kind of feel like, you know, nothing wrong with having a neighbor, of course, right? But
all tirelessly working
yeah, we'll see how that works. I don't know.
high rolling lifestyle.
I don't know. But yeah, I think people would definitely want a you know, like a boundary or a fence or something like that, right?
Earning more than you, why would anyone compete anymore? From up here, you can't help but take a step back and think righteous. If you're feeling blue today, imagine listening to this next tune from a view like mine.
Am I on farm fence? I am. My mistake. I actually wanted this to be the forestry industry fence. Farming's all swell, but not quite what I'm looking for here. And of course the logic here is the buildings will have a chance to come in at pretty much like, you know, a random roll of the dice. And so if we change the zoning squares, that'll add to the variety. So if they're all, you know, 4x4 or like 3x2, they're all going to kind of look more or less the same, even though you're going to get a, you know, generic roll of the dice every time the building comes in. So just mix it up. You know, 4x3, 4x2, 4x3 again. And then downloading from the workshop adds to that variety pool. Unless you want it to be Rico, then you can place that by itself. Which is kind of how those mods work when you're doing plopping versus growable versus Rico. That's crazy. That fit right in between, eh? Anyway, again, so if you're new to detailing, especially if you're a vanilla detailer, this is a really easy way to break into it. Not too time consuming. All of this stuff is vanilla friendly. Comes in the base game, variations of it. And then from the workshop's perspective, all you're doing is just adding more tools, right? Think of this like a paint, you know, paint set, right? You're just getting more and more colors, more and more brushes, more and more ways to kind of make the picture. And I also argue too, right? The more skilled the artist you become, the more you'll want to work with more stuff, right? And then also, the same flip of that, if you are very skilled at this, right, you shouldn't even need any of the extra stuff, right? You should be able to build like the most grandiose of vanilla cities. So maybe go out there and challenge yourself every once in a while. And especially if you haven't done it in a while, your poor computer might thank you a little bit more than you think if you do a nice purge of the old assets and mods there. And then yeah, just go for that challenge, just plain vanilla. See how the game maybe has aged, right? You got some friends that are brand new to the game. Might be a little bit tricky to give them advice if you haven't, you know, played vanilla a long time, right? There's just some food for thought. I'm not your dad. I'm not gonna tell you to live your life, you know. But yeah, I think this is a really fun game, especially with all of us kind of like working from home and everything for the short run here. If people are looking for a little bit of an escape just from the everyday, this is a fun way to kind of like literally recreate a brand new world. Okay, I'm gonna unzone that a little bit right there, I think. Okay, so I said I wanted to add a little bit more into here. So I've got some assets in mind here. Going for a slight shopping experience along the waterfront here. Don't want to change the flow of the water too much here, so I may terraform a bit of that while we're not making the videos or streaming. I do feel like the city is kind of due for me just kind of spending a few hours just going through and making sure everything's kind of happy and healthy. I think we got a few pockets that have been neglected, and there's been a big neglect for public transit. You know what we could do to end things off today? Let's do a little bus line through here. Or even better, you know what we can do? This will be really fun. Let's do kind of like a Greyhound Intercity bus link to show how we can get another way into the city here. Okay, so this may not be all that sexy of a building, depends on your perspective, but I have an idea of what can go right here. And to be honest, now that I'm starting to shape this out a bit more, I feel like this has the potential to be a nice park. And so I don't know if the building I'm going to plop down here might ruin part of that vibe, but maybe the last little bit here can be saved for a park. And maybe this should be a little bit bigger than, I don't know. Let me show you what I have in mind here. So I want Canadian Tire in here with a with its own parking lot. Especially with some of these little shops here. And this kind of feels synonymous with a small town as well. Big towns too, of course, right? But Canadian small towns definitely have got a Canadian Tire. But what is Canadian Tire, you might ask? It's kind of like, I want to say like Canadian Walmart in a weird way, but it's been around since like forever. And you can actually Google this too, this is kind of funny. They're one of the original companies to do a like a loyalty program, and they had it in the form of what's called Canadian Tire Money. And this is kind of like fun in a silly way, but they went and had like proper like money made, like with bills and a mint and all that other stuff. So it feels like proper paper money, and they offer that as part of like your change. You know, if you spend a $5 bill, instead of getting like 35 cents back as regular money, they'll give you 35 cents regular money. On top of, they'll give you like another 10 cents Canadian Tire money. It's kind of a fun reward, right? So whatever your change is, you get a percentage of that on top of, as an additional little bonus for saying thanks for shopping with us. And then like kind of the joke is that all Canadians have like stacks of Canadian Tire money just kind of hanging around. And what's interesting too is like charities will accept Canadian Tire money as money if you want to make a charitable contribution. Like Salvation Army end of the year, you can just literally stuff a wad of Canadian Tire cash in there, and they will be equally as supportive and thankful and grateful. That's how much we actually like use it for money here. It's kind of weird. And because of all the security features, it is actually hard to counterfeit. I'm not gonna do all the parking, just kind of signifying a little bit here. And then yeah, maybe this little bit here for like a statue in a park or something. Small little retail side street too, maybe. Get more action out of this parking lot. A little bit of room back here for some laneway stuff too. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna download maybe some statues. Something kind of fun in there might be in order. All right, so just a little bit more variety in terms of plopping down some buildings. I'm actually gonna do a little bit more. Actually, yeah, let's extend over here. So these are the King Leno houses. These are really fun to plop down. Really good for small town vibes too. Morgan Street. Yeah, so these are actually all made, funny enough, for a Walking Dead themed area. So we're doing nice spacing. And because we're plopping them with Rico and they're under the residential tab, these will work as a residential building. So people will come here and actually like live here and go about their lives and have wonderful, wonderful experiences in the small town. And this city is just so, like the map in general is so disproportionate. Like we are really, 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 really lacking a residential population overall. And just to kind of help a little bit with the terraforming, I don't think that actually suits the style. I can get rid of that, dude. Let's back that up a little bit here. And I'm thinking of maybe fencing part of this in and having like a little brick, kind of like, you know, welcome to this neighborhood sign. I'm not sure we can, I probably have to go to the workshop for a little bit more of this stuff here. And I think I can get away with using the same house a few times here, just because when I plop it, it's going to be a random roll of the dice for the color. We're at a point now with the game where you can actually download some mods and assets that will allow you to change on the fly some of the color of these buildings. Oh, that's fun. Oh, small town vibe too. It's a little big, but it might be a nice corner. Yeah. Kind of like an old hotel or something like that. Old, yeah. Some of these buildings are subject to change. They're just kind of in here as placeholder. But again, going for that, like, you know, 1950s, 1960s, You know, there's a redone then, 1930s kind of look too. Kind of all of it just kind of competing together, right? So the retrofuturism, the Art Deco styles, a little bit of modernization as well. I really, really, really like this a lot. This is really cool, just overall. Okay, so let's pop down a few more of these houses. And again, guys, I think with these videos, as I try to, like, you know, figure it all out, I'm just trying to give you some options, some variety, you know, some build inspiration, hopefully. This may be a little bit big. Yeah, I'm not really vibing that. But just like a little kind of building to block it off, and then yeah, like a brick with some trees or something. Kind of like that Florida gated community style. Those are way too big. Maybe like a high-tech retirement home here. No, you know, I feel like I'm drawing at straws here. Let's put that on hold. Let's just put it in the bus, and we'll wrap things up here. And if you made it this far, I really appreciate it, guys. And again, I'm going to get a little bit more. I don't know why I'm suddenly down in all the video here. I'll get more focused. I'm just happy to have you, and I'm just happy to get content out. All right, so we'll be using a couple cool mods here. Plopping that down. And this is going to be an express bus that's kind of like a Greyhound that's going to stop off maybe right over here in the mall and, you know, maybe pick up, drop off people here. Okay, the fact that it won't allow me to add another stop, that's kind of worrisome. Do we not have a way out of the, we do. So then why are you being all weird? Uh-oh. Okay, slight miscalculation in regards to the bus we're using here, I think. It's not allowing me to turn left out of that. Maybe just a little replacement. Okay, so I do have to go right. So maybe we're going to have to go that way. Okay, so maybe we pick up people here. That also allows us to leave. Oh, interesting. Okay, wants us to go that way now. Oh, through the back part too. That's interesting. I don't know if I approve of that. Oh boy, everything's falling apart here. Okay, well, the route may get adjusted. Let's get a route in. So the thought process is, especially from a visual perspective, right? Greyhound buses, Intercity link, you know, a train ticket might be expensive. So if you're trying to save a little bit of money, you're not really in a rush. Let's take the bus, you know. The bus can, you know, maybe carry a little more people. It's cheaper on gas relative to the amount they can put on a line, that kind of stuff. No, let's just head downtown. And we're going to head to our bus depot, yeah, over here. And then we'll stop again in the small town on the way back. And then, you know what, I'm going to watch, because this asset may need to be replaced here. Okay, so let's remove all the vehicles on the line. We're going to select our own type. This is the Improved Public Transit 2 mod. Kind of gives you a bigger breakdown of your transit lines. You can click on your lines. You got hexadecimal color coding, so you can copy and paste, which is really cool. So when you change the color of your line, see how that changes too? You just copy paste this. Really handy. And then the coolest thing for me, at least, right, is you download the custom vehicles at your types, that top list here. And then we're going to try and find, if I remember this off the top of my head here. One of these is supposed to be a Greyhound, but it's supposed to be a little bit more of a retro style one. Yeah, here it is. And I'm going to add maybe 10 of them. We don't need that many. It's more of a visual thing. And I'm going to try and find one of them out in the wild now. And I'm going to monitor and see how the buses actually use this on my own time. And I might replace that asset. I'm not sure yet. And what's fun too with the Sunset Harbor, we actually have a lot of new stuff coming, so I feel like the city's gonna get a radical change. Okay, let's take a look downtown. I think the buses might be spawning from there. Yeah, here they are. Oh, perfect. Yeah, look at that. Nice classic Greyhound. So these guys will just make the loop between downtown and our small town. Help adding to that story. Kind of quaint. Okay, well, not a lot done in terms of like actually building stuff, right? And again, I was all over the place, but slowly added to this. And I think we kind of went over the general, you know, the idea, the story, the backstory. I'm just really happy with the way this is turning out. And I don't know, guys. I don't know what it is. This video just seems a little bit weird to me. I still think it was a good one. I had a lot of fun, but just something seems a little bit weird. I'm all over the place. I don't know. But we're going to make it. We're going to release it. And I'll see you guys again. Just drop me a comment. Let me know. And again, I'm sorry for not being able to respond to them all, but really appreciate it. Hope you're having a wonderful day. I'll see you guys, see you next time. All right, guys. Take care of yourselves. Happy building. Have a great day.
By putting ring